Hello guys, welcome again. Right now I'm going to demonstrate how we are going to basically set up the same network, but now instead of assigning static IP addresses to them, we are going to use DHCP. So let me go back to the VirtualBox main screen. Okay, so as I told you before, it is always better to create a group so that it is easy to manage. So here we have the server, the same client, and here there is a new machine that I have installed, virtual machine that I have installed. It is a VYOS machine. So it is basically a Debian 64-bit based system. So you can just pull it from the internet. There is a VYOS rolling image versions rolled out every VYOS. So you would only be provided with downloading the latest variant of them. If you want a stable variant of their software, I think you have to pay. So, but their latest variant is good enough. But it is not tested out thoroughly. So there are some risks to it, but for our project it works. So I'm taking the YOS. So I'll walk you through how the installation works out. So first, within your group, you have to create new. My computer is a bit laggy. Put this up so that I can clearly see. Oh, just a sec. Right. So here you can just basically name your. I am already did all this, but here you can basically name your system. So YOS router or something like that, and you can select your image. Yeah. So 1.5 rolling. So this is what I have downloaded. So you can proceed with that. And if you click next, and one sec. Let me click it next. And you can basically allocate whatever memory function you want. 2048 is good enough. One processor is good enough. And size, it is better to keep it as 10 GB so that you don't want it to be too heavy. The next, once you finish it, it creates the new network. I've already created it. So it will just briefly walk you through just the initial procedure. Okay, it's created. Okay. So now we can basically what we do is we can start the machine. Here, there is one thing really important, which I did not notice during my first attempt. But it is very important that once you start this machine, you have to install the image, the disk image, so that it gets the storage which you allocated, and then you have to go to settings again and delete the image so that it doesn't boot from the same image. Basically, you have to enable it to store its data. If you are not careful about this procedure, this step, you might lose all data once you exit out of the current session. So that is very important, and that was a watershed moment for me to establish the entire connection between server and client. That is pretty important. So here you can just, the machine is booting up. You can just select this and it's going to run. It's going to take some time. I'm not going to show you the entire procedure, but let me show you the crisp, the most important step. The most important step here is once this is done, you have to just manually enter install image and press enter, and it will ask you for some some configuration setups. You just can just answer yes to everything, and it asks you for your password and stuff. By default, for YOS, it is YOS and YOS all small. So once that is done, the system is set up. So once this is done, let me quit this for now because I already have the system set up. So let me quit this for now. And just show you what next has to be done after installing the image. So after installing the image, you have to go to settings. Just a second. Uh-huh. So once you go to the settings, you have to go to storage. Here, I have various ones with container. Time process, but it is worth it. The effort is worth it. So here, the first thing is we have the system. Laptop is a bit something right. So when everything yeah, that it is yeah. So this is where uh, uh, IP address and subnet. That's one of the first things. So, like the first you steps, you can then check whether the DHCP server is updated with your entries. And once that is done, it's all good. So now you have to. I can actually tell you one more tip. You can actually activate SSH in this VYOS machine, and then you can remotely SSH into this, and you can just copy paste these commands instead of entering it every time, because uh, this session, the VYOS session is Debian 64-bit based session, and it is very very old. So you have very basic functionalities, and you can't even go up or down as far as I know, and copy paste things. So SSH is one tip where you can just basically connect to this session remotely, and you can just do copy paste, and you can enjoy all the advanced functionalities that Windows PowerShell based SSH session offers. So this is okay. This is done. Now to check whether the changes have been in place, you go to server and you open W542 password, and then you open the command line. And one good practice before testing the final stuff is to restart the network manager. Network manager is I'm using Ubuntu 20 version, so instead of switching to etc networking service, you switch to you basically restart network manager. The latest variant of Ubuntu, I think from 20th variant, they switched all the networking based service managers to network manager. So it has been a upgrade change. Okay, now one sec. Sorry about this. My system is a bit slow. It's taking a bit of a time to load. Let's start the client and parallel to. Mm, Sorry about this. My computer is taking so much time. It has been overloaded. So, just a sec. Give me a few guys. I'll just start this one more time. Hello guys. Sorry about that. My computer had got stuck. So I'm back. And now we can check whether the changes that we made have been reflected. So we can just check IP address. So, and yeah, in interface 8, we can see that there has been an IP address starting in range 9 to 24. So you can just check if conflicted. That's another command to check your IP address. And you can see the IP address has been correctly allocated by the access point, the gateway. Right. Now, you can also go and check the same on the client side. And you can see just as just in accordance with the starting and starting addresses that I gave for both the server and client. Server started with 9 and client started with 15 as its address, but the domains are different. Now, very, very important thing that I should finally mention is by default, whenever you ping something, your server always uses the interface 3 as its default interface. So when you try to ping your local, when you try to ping client, it will always try to list interface 3 as its medium to route the packet to the client, and it will never reach because this is not in the external network. This is just an internal network. So we can just check that by using trace route 19.168.2.15, and you can see, you see, it is trying to go through interface interface 3, which is the default interface, which is basically the IP address of my laptop. So yeah, you see, it's not going anywhere. It is unable to search that destination because it is out of the network. It is now in the external network. So there are two options. You can manually program your script. You can manually program the script to include that as a special case and treat whatever IP addresses starting from 192.168 to 124 to always route through interface 8. You can do that manually, or as a simple step, you can just uh, 1 second. You can just deactivate the interface 3. That works too. So you have to deactivate the interface on both client as well as server side. So the client side, I'm deactivating the interface. Basically, I'm switching my internet off. And now if you uh, try that, it works. That's it. That's it. It works. It reached the destination through the gateway. 152.54 is the gateway address of the first domain. So yeah. Now let us try to run the client and server code. Now that the ping test successfully worked, this should work as well. Okay, guys, back. So now we can start with the server and client code. So first, let us start the server, which is the default, which is the proper approach. So the thing is, first you have to. I already have ran the code, but this is the command you use to first compile the server code. So gcc server.c and then the object file, the binary file should be outputted to a file named server. And once you do this, it will get compiled to server. And then once that is done, you have to run the object file server with whatever port number that you want. So say 20,000. Yeah, now the server is listening for connections, incoming connections. And now let us start the client. So the client has to be started with a similar procedure. So you go GCC client. I already have the client code here. So GCC client dot C. The object file should be outputted to client. So once you do this, it would be compiled to client, and then you run client. But here, very importantly, you mention the IP address of the server. So 192.168.1.9, and then the port number that you used. So 20,000, right? Then you can enter the client can enter the message. Hello world, very famous. Hello world. I got your message. This is from the server. So yeah, the server display. If you want to, as mentioned in the lab report, if you want to continue this conversation infinitely, you just put the entire process creation in a while loop or a for loop, in a while loop, while true loop, so that the server always listens for, the server creates a child process to initiate a communication with the client, and the main server process will always listen for incoming connections. That is its role. Whereas the child process created specifically to interact with this client will keep on running in a loop, communicating with the server, with this client, till the client initiates stop, right? Or the server wants to initiate to stop talking with the client, it can initiate a stop. So, but since the entire procedure is connection oriented, TCP, um, the connection will stop only after the last message initiated from either the server or the client gets transferred to the intended recipient. So this is TCP. Whereas in UDP, you just randomly blast off your message. You don't care whether the message gets received or not. So no sub process, no forking, nothing. Very simple, um, very simple procedure, but very unreliable too. It has its disadvantages. The advantage is the code is scripting a UDP system is simple. Um, it doesn't have the traditional congestion flow control algorithm imbibed in it. So it benefits in a network full of TCP connections. UDP connection always benefits because it will not throttle itself down, whereas the TCP connection does. So yeah, but it has its ups and downs. As networking is a field of trade-offs. But yeah, so this is the complete tutorial of how simple client-server communication is established by using a router which acts as the gateway, connecting to different subnets and automatically allocating IP addresses. That's it. Simple. Thank you.